Nana Kwesi Kwitia. Let's take a look now at the top stories for this afternoon. Doctors in Upper West Region concerned about the alarming cases of obstetric fistula among young women in the region. We will take a look at the medical condition which is claiming the health, dignity and life of these women. Student leaders across the country petition Parliament over the sharp hikes in hostel fees. We will tell you more about this. Today on Good Afternoon Ghana, we will discuss two key issues: Ghana's decentralization policy, and later we'll sit with the Deputy Director General of the National Service Authority. This and many more coming up. Stay tuned with us. Welcome back, and these are the details. The Bank of Ghana has directed Mobile Money Fintech Limited to suspend its planned 0.75% fee on the direct wallet to bank transfers, which was due to take effect on June 1st, 2026, pending further stakeholder consultations to ensure fair and consumer-friendly pricing in the mobile financial service sector. All right, so here's a statement, and we're going to turn into the statement and then read that out. The Bank of Ghana informs the public that Mobile Money Fintech Limited has been directed to pause the implementation of its proposed 0.75% fee on direct wallet to bank transfers. The fee was scheduled to take effect on 1st June 2026, but is now on hold to allow for further consultation. This decision reflects our commitment to ensuring that any changes to charges in the mobile financial services ecosystem are introduced fairly, protect consumers, and support their financial well-being. And that ends the world reading. And away from that, heavy rainfall Monday morning caused flooding in parts of Accra, with Kaneshie among the worst hit areas as floodwaters submerged roads and disrupted movement. Several motorists were seen stranded while pedestrians struggled to navigate waterlogged streets following hours of downpour. Areas around the Pond Barrier, Santa Maria, among others, have also experienced significant flooding, forcing some commuters and traders to seek shelter as drainage systems overflowed. We spoke to some residents at Odona. Let's take a listen.
Some of our staffs got missing because of the petty things. Maybe you can open your door, then the flood will come inside. As for me, a lot of things are spoiled, but I have to take it like that. It's not easy at all. You can get hurt. And so that one, it's not easy at all. So we are pleading the president to help us. Yeah, we need help. Both MP, assemblyman, the president, we need help. Because sometimes our students don't go to school, but it's not good. Yeah.
Very, very difficult for everyone. Very, very difficult because it enters everyone's room. As you can see, you clean the place. After cleaning it, you wait for some time, then you come back because there's nowhere to go. As you know, everything is belong to the authorities. We don't have any power.
Like if the race is coming like this, shows the step we are here. More than if you like June, July, where the rain is coming, then we can't find this thing here. Then the step we are.
And still on the raining seasons, and as the rainy season intensifies in Accra, thousands of people living in kiosks and makeshift structures are exposed to worsening conditions that threaten their safety and well-being. But behind the vulnerability is a deeper question. Why do people continue to live there despite the risk? Metro TV's Ekia Abebu finds out in the following report.
Through the corners of the nation's capital, along open gutters and behind busy markets, you'll find rows of makeshift structures standing side by side. Known by many as kiosk estates, they often come with no proper drainage, unsafe electrical connections, and no sanitation facilities, leaving residents with little to no protection when the rains begin.
From the outside, these kiosks may look like ordinary shops, but when you enter, you are confronted with a different reality. They serve as homes to many families, and the people living here are constantly exposed to flooding, structural collapse, electrical hazards, and disease outbreak.
When the rains set in, many people welcome the relief from the heat, but for thousands of families living in kiosks, the season brings fear, uncertainty, and danger.
I'm scared though, but we are taking a risk, and we know someday somewhere we'll move.
So bad, say any man you so bad, you may see or say a fan to 2 years. The person so to her, a high night, near night pa, and near if you are so dying, and I've never been pair of a shall see. I saw honey from one.
May have a matter, you know, man, you have flash. Since you can't also see I said, even one, and for baby, pop and have a good bra of your food for them. She said, do I ever jab backward? Maybe you will have no. So, Tahana, this and in our for Asana. It's man, baby, I bet Pahana is correct. I said, baby.
Despite the hazards, occupants of these kiosks say high rent costs leave them with no choice.
Everyone knows how they are living over here, you understand, and everyone in his or the situation or his situation, you understand. But the living over here, it's kind of some way, yeah. And actually, if you don't know how to live here, there's no way you can live here. And when it comes to, let's say, facilities, actually, it's quite expensive over here. For the kiosks that are here, we don't have bathhouse inside, or maybe let's say a washroom inside. We don't have it, so that means we have to go out to pay somewhere before we take our bath, or we go to, or we visit the gents or the ladies. There are different places over here. What we pay, where me I go, I pay 3 cedis
for
to visit the gents or to take my shower.
In Ghana, the Rent Act 1963 Act 220 protects both landlords and tenants, but in many kiosk communities, rental arrangements are informal and largely unregulated.
Be my dates. This wait me out to any time. It depends. Depending. We be our beshiano. I won't know how we will get my to any time. We will get my dates. You will be there, kitty, madam, your mouth, your children price all the day week here. And easy. You have a power. The banom on your boy. That be said, you agree, you may be a bad benefit up here. Mubaha. In the Geneva degree, I felt back to one in your marketing. And your fee. By the do dear, I say, the tabri no, you never been your brepa. You are one for 2 crowns to me now. If you week to 200, if you week 8, 180. I'm 25. Sir, and you're dead enough. Beyond the price or it.
The rise of kiosk estates highlights a growing urban housing crisis where affordability comes at the cost of safety and dignity. Ikea Review, Metro News, Accra.
Let's take a trip down to the Volta region, and after enduring years of hardship in accessing clean water, residents of Dodoma Doglome, a community in the whole West District of the Volta region, are now heaving a sigh of relief. The community has received a major boost with the construction of a 10,000-litre mechanized borehole, providing clean, safe, and reliable drinking water.
Until now, residents of Dodoma Doglome relied primarily on an untreated stream that flows through the town, as well as rainwater collected during the wet season. These sources, however, posed significant health risks and were often unreliable, especially during the dry season. The situation has now changed through the generous intervention of Community Focus Foundation and NGO with support from Cocoa Marketing Company. The Managing Director of Cocoa Marketing Company, Dr. Wisdom Kofi Dogbe, whose outfit spearheaded the project, explained that the initiative was aimed at alleviating the suffering residents of cocoa-growing communities face in accessing clean water.
President Mahama is very keen on supporting our farming communities, especially, our cocoa farmers. It turned out that this is also a cocoa farm as well, so it's cocoa-growing community as well. So it's important that we do this for them. The work that they do is hard work. A lot of the foreign exchange that we get into Ghana, we get it from cocoa. As we are able to do this, we'll do more, right? We are praying that the cocoa market will actually improve, things will get better, and we can put more of this in the cocoa growing communities across the country.
Director of Community Focus Foundation Ghana, Richard Kasu, urged the community to take good care of the facility to prolong its lifespan and ensure it serves its intended purpose.
What we want community stakeholders to do is to ensure that they take good care of the facility and ensure that its lifespan is longevated or prolonged. That is what we can say for now. And as an organization, we'll continue to engage sponsors to see how we are able to intervene in other areas that are also in dire need of water.
The District Chief Executive for Ho West, Professor Francis Tuse, expressed gratitude for the gesture, stating that it will complement efforts by the Assembly to provide potable water to every community in the district.
We need a quality type of water. We need safe water. We have a lot of streams in Ho West, but that is not the best way to go. We want a safe water where people will drink without disease. Therefore, this program has come to complement the effort of the District Assembly. Therefore, it has come at the right time when the people of Dogolome need safe drinking water.
The Assembly member for the area, Gabriel Anku, also expressed profound gratitude for the project, describing it as a life-changing project.
For quite a long time, some time now, the community have been battling with water issues as potable drinking water. So they access their drinking water from a stream. So this very project, the mechanized borehole, is a relief to households.
And away from access to potable water at Total Upper West Regional Hospital over the last 2 decades, according to medical professionals in the region, the high number is largely attributed to harmful cultural practices and home deliveries. There's more in the following report.
Obstetric fistula is one of the most devastating childbirth injuries affecting women, especially in poor and underserved communities. It occurs mainly as a result of prolonged and obstructed labor without timely medical intervention. This condition creates a hole between the birth canal and the bladder or rectum, leading to continuous leakage of urine or stool. Gynecologist at the Upper West Regional Hospital, Dr. Amina Sani, says aside the physical pain, women living with fistula often suffer emotional trauma, social isolation, stigma, divorce, poverty, and loss of self-esteem.
Firstly, there are so much scarring around that area. The fistula becomes complex, and this actually makes the surgery complex. And sometimes even when we are able to actually manage these cases, some of them come back with failed treatment. So we advocate for early reporting. So it comes back to how do we prevent these fistulas? A lot of women want to get pregnant. So we advocate that as soon as you get pregnant, you have to actually report to the hospital for antenatal care as early as possible, so that we actually identify the risk factors, so that we know that we avoid, because fistula actually is due to prolonged obstructed labor.
Many women hide in silence because of stigma and discrimination, and no woman should suffer such pain while bringing life into the world. According to doctors at the regional hospital, delays in decision to take maternal care services, poverty, cultural practices, home deliveries, teenage pregnancy, and lack of transportation continue to put many women and girls at risk.
From 2006 to the year 2026, the region has mobilized 211 suspected fistula cases, and out of that, 96 of them were repaired at the regional hospital. This is a major opportunity for women suffering from fistula to regain their health, dignity, confidence, and improve quality of life.
The International Day to End Obstetric Fistula each year focuses on accelerating actions to meet Sustainable Development Goal 3 by 2030.
And still on the fistula cases, Dr. Amina Sani Tuari, obstetrician gynecologist at the Upper West Regional Hospital, is with us on Zoom, and we're going to have a conversation with her on that. Good afternoon to you, madam. Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and I hope you're doing well too. All right. So please, if you could explain to the layperson what fistula is and why it matters to talk about it. Hello?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then. All right, so I wanted to find out from you if you could explain to us or to the lay person what fistula is and why it matters for us to talk about it now.
Hello, can you?
Yes, I can hear you. All right, so we are looking at the fistula cases happening at the Upper West region of Ghana. I mean, we've had cases of 211, I'm sure, plus more, but then it's been happening for over 2 decades, and the cases are being, taken care of, and we're looking at talking to an expert to tell us how these things are happening over there and what are the ways in which, the hospitals are going about to actually help treat patients over there, and then what kind of lifestyle are they also, having over there that probably is causing them to be infected with that. All right, so she's on phone now. Good afternoon to you, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, so we're still waiting to speak to. All right, good afternoon.
Yeah,
all right,
good
so
afternoon.
I wanted
How are
to
you?
find out from you, earlier on when you were on Zoom, that, how does these cases happen, the fistula cases, and why it matters for us to talk about it?
Call has been put.
Pardon on that one, and we'll see how to rectify it, and if we have to bring it back, we'll bring it back for you to listen to Dr. Amina. All right, then we're going to move away from that, and we're still going to maintain the story that we're looking at, the fistula cases, and a specialist obstetrician and maternal health advisor to the United Nations Population Fund, Dr. Azi Kofi Kudogbe, has downplayed the assertion by sections of the public that obstetric fistula is a case other than a medical issue. He explained that fistulas are medically treatable, require dedicated counseling, peer support, and rehabilitation to rebuild their confidence and reintegrate into society.
Obstetric fistula remains a critical maternal health issue in Ghana, with an estimated 1,300 new cases occurring annually, primarily affecting impoverished, rural, and undereducated young women. Caused by prolonged or obstructed labor, the condition leads to devastating social stigma and physical isolation. As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark International Day to End Obstetric Fistula, the UNFPA, with partners, organized an awareness creation walk in Kumasi to sensitize the public on the root causes, which include child marriage, adolescent pregnancies, malnutrition, causing stunted pelvic growth, and delays in reaching emergency obstetric and newborn care facilities, and the need to consider it as a health issue rather than myth and seek medical attention. Specialist obstetrician Dr. Aji Kofi Gudugbe, who doubles as the maternal health advisor to UNFPA, gave an insight into the situation.
I want to appeal to everybody that obstetric fistula is a problem that is developing because of poor access to emergency obstetric care. So that notion that this is from witchcraft, the woman has done something wrong and the gods are punishing her, should be a thing of the past. Let's rather support these women and link them to care, timely care, so that they can get the needed surgery to correct this problem. And then lastly, even after repairing these cases, let us not leave them alone. Let us still commit to reintegrating people back into society and giving them a quality of life that they deserve.
Dr. Gudugbe further stressed that an estimated 7,000 women living with obstetric fistula are in Ghana currently. However, due to stigmatization, lack of access to healthcare, and misconception, many shy away from seeking medical attention. The International Day to End Obstetric Fistula is observed globally on May 23. It raises awareness and mobilizes support to prevent and treat this devastating childbirth injury affecting many women and girls under the theme, Her Health is a Right, Invest to End Fistula and Childbirth Injuries.
Dr. Amina Sani is back online. Good afternoon to you, madam.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, we're still taking a look at the obstetric fistula cases, and we're going to have that conversation. Good afternoon to you, madam.
Good afternoon.
All right, so my first question is, how would you explain to the lay person what obstetric fistula is, and then why talk about it?
Okay, obstetric fistula is a hole or abnormal passage that develops between the birth canal, woman's birth canal, that's the vagina, and the nearby structures. It could be the bladder that stores urine, or it could be the rectum. Okay. If it happens to the bladder or the ureters, where the urine passes to the bladder, then a woman leaks urine. But when it's between the birth canal and the rectum, where the feces pass, then the woman leaks feces in the vagina. So, and this happens when there's prolonged or obstructed or difficult labor delivery, and there's no immediate medical intervention. So that's what obstetric fistula is.
So, with the over 200 fistula cases that have been recorded, so far, I wanted to find out from you the period and then also why there's alarming numbers.
I want to clarify that the 200 mentioned is not it's between the period over 20 years. That's in the northern Upper West region. That's over 20 years. So it's not a figure we are recording now.
Okay.
And this 200, we've done a lot of physical surgeries. For the past 5 years, we've repaired more than 50 fistulas. And this coming week, we are repairing another batch of fistula. That's an outreach we actually organizing this on Thursday. We are going to repair about 7 fistula cases.
All right. So, clearly, fistula cases are treatable. So, can you tell us what the numbers are looking like right now and the number of surgeries that has been carried out within the period?
Yes. The number of cases have drastically reduced. Okay. And we've done, this year alone, we've done more than 12 fistula surgeries.
Okay.
This year alone in the Upper West Regional Hospital.
And all were successful?
Well, all were successful. And some of them were very complex. Okay. So what happens with fistula is, when you have a fistula, then you stay home for a long time before you reporting to the hospital.
Okay.
It gets complex.
Okay.
So sometimes when it's being repaired, we have complication. That's maybe it can fail. So most of them that have failed or they are very complex, we actually send them to Mankesim, where they are more specialized urogynecologists to actually repair this fistula. So we've sent about 9 cases there this month to go and have their fistula repaired at Mankesim.
So finally, let me ask you this. I mean, you spoke about the fact that cultural practices are also the cause for this. What are you doing about it now, especially sensitizing the public about this?
So cultural practices, I mean, you can't take some of the cultural practices from the people.
Okay.
So what we are doing is we are involving the community by going through the Queen Mothers.
All right.
The Queen Mothers actually are our voice right now, although we have some power. So we go to the villages, we use the Queen Mothers, which are called Pogna. They go around radio station, they go to the community health service centers, they go to the churches, they go to the shrines to go and actually the best attendant to actually educate these women on how these cultural practices can actually affect some cultural practices like female genital mutilation can affect these women. So it's coming down with our education, and I think the people are getting it now. So our numbers are actually drastically reducing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amina Sani, for talking to us about obstetric fistula. Thank you. And away from that, we're going to take a look at AU Day, which happened on the 25th of May, talking about Monday. And as part of the activities commemorating this year's African Union Day, Metro TV held an AU Day mini conference to discuss solutions to sanitation and waste management challenges confronting Ghana and the continent as a whole. Speaking at the conference, Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ritana Adole-Sowa, urged the general public to embrace waste segregation at the household level to ensure segregation efforts are sustained at the disposable sites.
The conference, held under this year's AU Day theme, Assuring Sustainable Water Availability and Safe Sanitation Systems to Achieve the Goals of Agenda 2063, focused on promoting sustainable sanitation practices and improving waste management systems across the continent. Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ritana Adole-Sowa, in her remarks, underscored the need for collective responsibility in tackling the country's sanitation and waste management challenges.
There is a need for waste segregation, and this, I believe, should start from our households. The waste management organizations, ESPA, including the Bola taxis, we need to come to a compromise where households should separate their waste, that is waste segregation, so that even if the Bola taxi is coming to the house to pick the waste, there should be a day that we are picking organic waste. There should be a day that we are picking plastic waste to ensure that, the systems can run. Because if we put all together and then at the final disposal site, we want to see segregation, I don't think it is going to work too much for us. And so for me, one of the things I would put on the table is to ensure that waste segregation starts from schools, starts from organizations, starts from our communities, our households.
Communications and Corporate Affairs Director, Zoomlion Ghana Limited, Emma Adjoa Apia Osejia, called on government to strictly enforce sanitation bylaws to help address the country's growing waste management crisis.
Bylaws should be made active. The bylaws work within smaller communities. So once I know what I have to do and what is supposed to be done to me, when it is cracked on me, I will not complain too much. We should also decide to stop bringing in people to apologize for offenders. If you offend, you have offended. Let the law bite you hard. Because wherever we go to, where we see the place beautiful, there are sanctions that work. Recently, we've been talking about Rwanda behind our back, and they did it hard. It was not comfortable. Until you accept the hard truth and decide that you allow the people to feel a little pinch for irresponsibility, we are going nowhere.
Wash technical specialist at World Vision Ghana, Yao Ata Ahin, also called for improved prioritization of sanitation and waste management.
The one word that we need to address all our sanitation challenges is prioritization.
Okay.
You don't prioritize. If you don't prioritize, you will not invest. Look, the previous government made free SHS a priority. You know how much went into it. This government has maintained it, it's a priority, but they've added what we call big push. Do you know how much is going into big push? So once you prioritize it, you will finance it.
Held at the Akuabuaima studio of Metro TV, the maiden edition of the conference came to a close with renewed calls for collective action towards improved sanitation.
And still on environmental awareness, the Environmental Protection Authority has announced a nationwide ban on the production, importation, distribution, sale, and use of polystyrene foam products, commonly known as styrofoam or takeaway packs, effective January 1st, 2027. The directive follows a policy announcement by John Dramani Mahama on June 5th, 2025, during World Environmental Day celebrations, where he outlined the government's plan to phase out styrofoam products as part of a broader effort to combat plastic pollution and protect the environment. In a statement issued on Monday, 25th of May, the EPA said the ban will cover all expanded polystyrene foam products used for both commercial and domestic purposes. All right, so this afternoon, let's talk about love now. As partners for Metro Care Foundation, the corporate social responsibility arm of the Ignite Media Group, has paid a courtesy visit to the management of Metro TV ahead of the 4th edition of the annual sanitation drive organized by Let Love Lead NGO in the commemoration of the June 3rd disaster.
The initiative seeks to promote sanitation awareness, educates the public on environmental responsibility, and encourage community participation to help prevent future disasters. One of the partners highlighted the objectives of this year's exercise, stressing the need for continuous public education on sanitation and collective responsibility.
We try to involve a lot of the members of the public so that the awareness can go far. Yeah. So we are not putting our faces in front to do a show off. You know, we want other people to come and take over and do what is needed. It is a cleanup. So once you have a shovel, a broom, a stick, whatever, you know, we try to desilt the gutters as much as we can.
Another partner outlined activities lined up for the 4th edition and called on the public to actively support the initiative to ensure cleaner and safer communities.
The main objective is to build a safe, cleaner and healthier environment for all.
Yes.
Because basically, we look at it that sanitation is something that we cannot do without it. So creating awareness is one of its major objectives of Let Love Lead NGO, and also honor the memories of the victims.
Yeah.
Because we look at it that we want to say never again.
Never again.
Managing Director of Metro TV, Von Klaus Backenstein, says the station's decision to partner the initiative aligns with its commitment to sanitation and community development, adding that the vision behind the project resonates strongly with the brand.
We're happy to be associated with Let Love Lead, and also know where we come from. Sanitation and environment are things that are dear to us, and so anything sanitation, we're heavily committed to ensuring that we change behaviors and also clean up our environment so we don't go through the difficult times that we went through on the 3rd of June sometime some years ago when the place got flooded and a lot of things were affected. So sanitation and environment, we are all for it.
The 4th edition of the sanitation drive is expected to bring together stakeholders, volunteers and members of the public in honor of victims of the June 3rd disaster, while promoting a culture of cleanliness and environmental consciousness.
And that's it for Newsbeat on Metro TV. My name is Nana Kwesi Kwetia. Good afternoon, Ghana. Continues after the break.
As the days come and go, there's always shit. Let colleagues explore all the planetary bodies. Our mission is in Uranus to treat hemorrhoids, anal fistula, anal fissure, anal incontinence, hidradenitis suppurativa, using laser Legasure for pain-free and speedy recovery. On Uranus Street, Accra, is Main Tuber Hospital and Coloproctology Center. Trust Uranus with us and we will delight you. Visit Main Tuber Hospital today or call us on 0244 581 541.
Launching BSc Development Economics at the Ghana Christian University College. Study a job-ready university program, BSc Development Economics at the Ghana Christian University College. Job is ready for graduates who possess degrees and certificates in BSc Development Economics, professional certificate in Theoeconomy, certificate in Theoeconomy with business. Enroll at the Department of Theology and Economics at the Ghana Christian University College, Amrahia, Adenta Dodua Road, Accra. Full bursary is available for BSc Development Economics graduates to study master's program at the State University in South Africa. Enroll now. Take advantage of this opportunity to join elite professionals in economics. Call 0557 351 090 or 0575 633 307 or 030 296 0542. WhatsApp us on 0557 351 090 or you can get in touch online on www.theoeconomy.edu.gh. Powered by the Center for Theology and Economics, CTEC.
Hey buddy, it's me Azar.
Yeah, me now they see. Hey, you don't look fresh. Oh.
Hey.
With your label today, me.
Wait till you see what's inside me.
Azar, freshly made inside and out for greater coverage and colors that last longer and beautify your walls, spaces and places. Azar, no size. Go ahead. Buy now. Azar, #1 from Azar Group since 1921.
I'm ready to give it my all, my talent, dedication, heart, everything for this journey. What's all this?
Welcome to the Breakers.
You need more than a rhythm to survive these space.
From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you're getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations.
Season 3 of The Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
In a time where noise is loud, but clarity is rare, one program is changing the conversation. Welcome to the Intelligence Desk. This is not a talk show. This is a working studio. Each week, we break down the biggest national and global issues from AI and digital transformation to trade, jobs, governance, and national competitiveness, and turn complexity into practical, usable knowledge. Sharp questions, structured thinking, real solutions built live on air. With resident resource person Dr. David King Boyson, the show moves beyond commentary, designing frameworks, mapping strategies, and holding decision makers accountable. From the big issue briefing to the strategy lab to the innovation and opportunity board, every episode delivers tools you can use. If you care about Ghana's future, if you value clarity over chaos, if you believe leadership requires intelligence, then this is your desk. The Intelligence Desk, hosted by RSM Kofi Dole Lawson on Metro TV, where Ghana thinks forward.
MTN FA Cup final. The moment we've all been waiting for. The climax of Ghana Football 2025-2026 season is here. Hey, no, MTN FA Cup final. Obey Butu today. Nations FC and the Dreams FC. Are you live? Our UG Sports Stadium. Kwesiada ya Ebe. 31st May. 6 p.m. It's why we win MTN FA Cup finals to represent Ghana. Our cup. A pre-FIFA World Cup 2026 football party. It's a new film. Ghana Blaster just national colors woman and bright and your face. The send a signal. Our yes Yafanina. Say ya Ghana for. We love our football. Ghana Blaster University of Ghana Sports Stadium game. It will be on Sunday, 31st May, 1:30 Pepe. Exactly 3 p.m. Accra House of Fun Kumasi Asante Kotoko on the 17th. And the special curtain race. What's the ball? What the ball, Papa? MTN FA Cup final pass. Never when you get the full package, including spectacular opening ceremony. Nations FC versus Dreams FC to represent Ghana in Confederation Cup. Any surprises may bring. Anything brand get fee. 20 Ghana popular stand, 50 Ghana VIP, and 100 Ghana VVI. MTN FA Cup. Men you will feel. Let me say, a Baye Butu MTN FA Cup game.
Hello there. Today is the 26th of May 2026. And you're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro Television with me, Desmond Okreku-Danso, coming to you live from our studios here at Northridge in Accra and transmitting across our social media platforms on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana, on X. Also, we are live on YouTube, Metro TV Ghana. You can join us on there also. And if you're driving around town, as I was doing this morning and listening to the shows on Metro TV, then it is 94.21 FM. Tune in and join in, and let's have a very beautiful show today. Well, today we're going to be talking about something that is important that we take note of, and it is the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization. They've done something amazing. That is the National Decentralization Policy and Strategic Framework 2026 to 2030. What really is this framework? We'll get to understand that the Executive Secretary for the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization has joined us in the studio. We'll get to have a conversation with them. And then later, we have a conversation about the National Service Authority. The Deputy Director in charge of operations will be joining us also. Honorable Fuseni Donko will be joining us for a conversation on what's been happening at the National Service Authority, the number of questions that we'll be asking him. And so you can definitely join in with your questions and anything that you want to ask, you can do that also. And then we would have that conversation later on the show. We're until 2 p.m. So stay with us till the very end. My name again is Desmond Okreku-Danso. So we're talking about a new policy framework on decentralization in Ghana. The Executive Secretary for the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization is here with me, Dr. Gameli Kewurubi. I didn't want to butcher that part. Kewurubi Hodofia is here with us, and we'll get into the conversation to understand all of this in its sense. Thank you very much, Dr. Hodofia, for joining us on the program today. So let's begin from, so we're talking about interministerial, right? So what ministries came together to be able to put this together?
So the IMCC is made up of 10 institutions,
okay,
including the presidency. So the IMCC is chaired by the president, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, or the vice president, if he assigns. And then we have the ministers of finance, local government, agric, gender, children, and social protection. We have the head of the local government service, the head of the civil service, the chairman of the NDPC, the attorney general.
Okay.
You know,
they come together
to make what we call the IMCC. That's the political decision-making body. Now, we have what we call the IMCC Technical Committee as well, which is made up of chief directors of the institutions which I have mentioned.
Okay.
And then we have 3 independent experts. The chairman of the Technical Committee is Professor Kwame Ahoy, the father of decentralization in Ghana.
Right.
And then we have Dr. Esther Ofe-Aboagye, and then we have Dr. Ofosu Ampofo. They are independent members of the IMCC Technical Committee. Now, it is that level, they do the technical backstopping. So there's also a secretariat, which I heard, that is responsible for bringing forward all the issues of policy, the technical papers and briefings for the decision making. So once we take that from the secretariat, we take it to the technical committee. Then from technical committee, once we have clearance and we have done all the judging, we take it up to the level where the president chairs, and then we have our blessing for implementation to take place. So that's how the IMCC is structured. Now, the IMCC came about because we had been implementing decentralization reforms for a long time, and we weren't getting where we wanted to get to because we had challenges where, as you can tell, ministers, you know, traditionally the Minister for Local Government had the responsibility of delivering decentralization. But because decentralization involves taking power from various sectors, you know, and pushing them down, some of the ministers felt that the Minister for Local Government was trying to build an empire. And so they were putting stumbling blocks. There were turf wars happening. And so a root and branch analysis was done. And that led to the establishment of the IMCC in 2010 under President Mills. And then the secretariat was established 2 years later, headed then by Dr. Callistus Mahama, who is now the secretary to the president. And then over time, we've had various other people head the secretariat. But that's the IMCC. The IMCC is responsible by law. If you look at the Local Governance Act, Act 936, 204, thereabouts, the IMCC is responsible for intersectoral policy coordination for decentralization and for the decentralized local government system. So that means both at the center and at the local level. And so our job is to pull together, to coordinate, to facilitate, to advocate, to reform, and then to monitor implementation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Doc, so let's thank you very much for the breakdown. Let's take it back to, of course, when Ghana gained independence and all that, we have had time to put in place decentralization policies. Give us the journey, if you're able to, of what we've been able to do over the years, and then we get to this current point, because for there to be another framework, it means that there was a gap, there was something that needed to be done, and so hence this new framework had to come in. If you could share with us that journey.
All right, thank you very much. So this current layer of Ghana's decentralization and local governance architecture started in 1988 with PNDC Law 207 under President Rawlings, when we established 110 local governments at the time. Then in 1993, we transitioned to Act 462, the Local Governance Act, that sort of structured our current local government system. In 2016, we sort of reviewed the law and then strengthened it, harmonized the various laws that were within the local government space. And then we had Act 936, which is what we are currently, the Local Governance Act now is Act 936. Now, since 2010, we decided to implement some reforms. That's when we started putting together a coordinated policy to guide how decentralization is implemented.
Okay.
Until that time, we didn't. We had some action plans, but when we got to 2010, the decision was made that, for a very important facet of our life, as a people, decentralization and local governance, we needed to have, a coordinated, comprehensive policy document to guide how we do decentralization in our country. And so, for the first time, we had the first one in 2010 to 2014, where we sought to clarify, for instance, what we mean by decentralization. When you look at the Constitution of Ghana in Articles 35(6)(d), we receive our marching orders in terms of, it says that we should decentralize, administrative and financial machinery of government to the districts and the regions, and to afford the people every opportunity to participate in decision-making at all levels of government.
Okay.
It means if I live in Lankwantana Medina or I live in Bunkrugu Yoyo, I should be able to participate in the processes about how where I live should look like, how development should be like where I live. And so we sought to clarify through the policy what we mean by decentralization in Ghana. And so at the national level, we indicate that decentralization at the national level means institutional restructuring, ministerial realignment, and institutional restructuring. What do we mean? It means that the ministries, department, agencies at the center should focus only on policy formulation, monitoring, and evaluation only.
Okay.
So that implementation will then take place at the devolved level, that is at the district, where the decisions and issues affect the people directly where they live. Now, decentralization really thrives on a certain principle. It's called the principle of subsidiarity. It means that decisions should be made at the point where the issues that decision is about to affects the people the most. So if you and I live here and a certain decision is going to be made, it shouldn't be made above us.
Yeah.
It should be made where we can feel, right, and we can contribute to it, right, to the solution to that problem. So if there's the issue of flooding, for instance, what do we need to do? The decision should not come from the top. It should come from where? Because you and I, we have context. Remember that when you sit in Accra and they bring you information to your ministry, for instance, it's data you're looking at. Whereas the DCE, the coordinating director, and all the people who live in the locality, it's a lived experience for them, right? They can feel it. And so it is better for them, or they are better placed to come up with a solution that deals with that local problem. And so this policy today, we're emphasizing local solutions to local problems.
Okay.
Right?
We've seen the times have changed, right? You talk about 2010 when the policy framework
2014,
began.
Yes.
Yes.
Then
20 to 2014.
Then 15 to 19.
Right.
Then 20 to 2024. That's the last rendition, ended December 2024.
Right. Were we able to achieve what was put in these frameworks over the period? So let's say, do we know 2010 to 2014, what percentage we were able to achieve, and then the next one, 15 to 19, and then 20 to 24? Because if you keep on coming up with frameworks, it means that then it needs to be a progress, continuous progress in that sense. Do we have that?
Our father of decentralization calls it incremental gradualism.
Incremental gradualism.
Yes, that's what Professor Awoy calls it.
Okay.
That, yes, we are making incremental gains. So from 2010-2014, we achieved about 40 to 45% of the aspirations that we had in there. Then we had a 2015 to 2019, we got to about 60%. With the 2020-2024, we got to about 62% of the aspirations that we had expressed in the policy. And so from that point of view, this current policy is building on 30 years of experience in the sector, of knowledge, of practice, of learning about the pitfalls within the sector and trying to reset. So that if you look at the theme of this policy, we are talking about resetting democratic decentralization for accountable public service delivery and accelerated local development. What do we mean? We're talking about resetting democratic decentralization. Democratic decentralization essentially is the process where we give opportunity to the people at the local level, citizens, to be able to elect their own DCE, for instance. Currently it is the president who appoints.
And it's always come up as a debate whether it should be or not.
Yes. And you remember under the presidency of President Akufo-Addo, we had this conversation as to wanting to do it on a partisan basis.
Right.
But the people of Ghana were very clear. They wanted non-partisan local governments because they felt that of all the things that they were seeing at the national level, the toxicity, the acrimony that they saw in Parliament, they didn't want that at the local level. And so if you look at the Afrobarometer and many, many other surveys, they pointed to the fact that Ghanaians wanted to elect their local leaders, but then they wanted to do it on non-partisan basis so that we separate that from what pertains at the national level. And so this policy and the NDC manifesto, and then when we undertook the conversations, the consultations up and down this country, the aspirations of the people were clear, that they wanted to be able to elect the MMDCs. And so government has said, we have put it in the policy. And so between 2027, 2029, everything that needs to be undertaken to ensure that we're able to elect MMDCs, we have it crystallized in the policy so that we're giving more power to the people, right? Now, what does that also mean? If you have an elected DCE, it means that he, together with you, if you, Desmond, decide that you want to be DCE where you live, the resources will come for the functions that you need to deliver, but together with your constituents, with the people living in your community, you come up with your priorities. You would own those priorities because you did it together. It's organic for you. And so you will come out with innovative solutions, leveraging on technology and what have you, to be able to deliver, so you'll be leveraging the best minds in that community to be able to transform that community how you want it.
Doc, you're talking about decentralization, and I'm sure, as you explained from what the Constitution says, on the grounds and in your interactions with people, is there a clear understanding of decentralization to the people? I mean, like maybe we can do a survey and ask some of my people here who are at the back, ask them if they understand decentralization, or the woman at the market, if they do understand. Is that the case?
Not necessarily. The case is that some people understand, others, a large proportion of our citizenry do not understand. And so even for me, the work I do, I go to places and people say, Kamali, this is your decentralization thing. Would it work? And I say to them, let's think about it. Take a step back. What is decentralization? It means bringing services closer to where you live. That's decentralization. So that if you live in Lankwantana Medina, or you live in, if you live in, say, La, or you live in Osu, right? It means bringing governance closer to you. And what does that mean by bringing governance closer to you? It means, as I explained earlier, that we want you and then him together. You should have the opportunity to shape what pertains in your locality. It means that there's an assemblyman there, there's unit committee, right? The assembly member by law, before he goes to the assembly meeting, is meant to organize meetings, is meant to interact, leveraging multiple channels, to be able to reach out to the populace, to get their views before he goes, so that he can articulate them when he goes to the assembly. And then the assembly, when they start their planning processes, they're meant to come to you, take your aspirations, crystallize that into a medium-term development plan that shapes where you live. And so decentralization is about moving, the governance arrangement. You remember I was talking about the fact that when you live at the local level and someone is at the top, you're looking at data, whereas the person at the local level is a lived experience for the person. So because of it, we say, let's devolve, let's ensure that we bring the delivery of the services, we bring the governing to the governed. You understand? So we want to be able to bring the decision-making processes to the doorsteps of the people where the people live, so that they have ownership of it moving forward, so they can transform their own communities by themselves.
Right. So now, Cabinet has approved this. So in the next 4 years, 2026 to 2030, what are the targets of this policy?
So essentially, the policy has 6 thematic areas.
Okay.
Political decentralization, fiscal decentralization, we have administrative decentralization, decentralized planning, local economic development, popular participation, and accountability. Now, we also have, as I already expressed, we also have 6 cross-cutting teams. That's gender and social inclusion, that is, and social protection. We don't want to leave anyone behind. So all vulnerable groups, from the people that usually do not participate, are women, people with disabilities, or people who are differently abled. The youth, they tend not to participate in the governance processes. True. We want to be able to create the platforms, the avenues for them to be able to be part of the processes of government at the level where they are. And so there's also the issue of safety and security, that where I live, where you and I live, should be safe and secure. Because if we must grow, if we would thrive, then we need a safe and sound society where we are. We're also talking about the environment, biodiversity, and climate change. That's another cross-cutting team. Now, you know this issue of Galamsey and what have you, all of that impact on our environment. It's a cross-cutting team that we have woven through all the 6 thematic areas. We also have a very critical one, which is mindset change.
Mindset change.
Mindset change, ethics, and change management in general. Remember that we're talking about 30 plus years of implementing decentralization reforms. We don't want to do business as usual anymore. That's why we're talking about resetting. We want that from the institutions to the people, we must engage with the decentralized local government system differently. So, number one, from the point of view of the people, if we bring you local governance, if we bring you the power, what are you doing with it? Right? You must take it. You must demand more. You must hold the people there more accountable. There's a district chief executive. We want the people to be able to hold him accountable, that we are sending a lot of resources down. Those resources, the people should ask, the media should ask them, what did you spend the money on? We want to hold them more accountable. So we want a different, instead of being, bystanders, spectators, we don't want that. We want every one of us, every single one of us, we want us to take an active role. That is from the individual, from the citizen's perspective. And then from the institutional level, we say that, look, if you are at the center, you have a mandate to deliver services to the people. But the people, someone in Bole, shouldn't come all the way to Accra before they access the service. That service should be made available to them. But you seated at the center, who's making the decision? Institutionally, we want a certain change from you, that, look, you allow for the power, the resources that go with the functions to go to the local level, so that it will make the delivery of the service easier, and then also your mandate will be delivered at the end of the day. So you are achieving your mandate, but the people are happy because they are accessing services. So I've highlighted the 6 thematic areas as well as the 6 cross-cutting teams. Now, maybe if I just take a quick one to go into...
Please, you can go ahead.
Now, when it comes to political decentralization. What are we talking about? We want to democratize the appointment of the MMDCs. We want to take the power away from the president. And the president gladly, from the approval of the policy, he is happy that we should take away the responsibility from him of appointing the MMDCs, so that rather that responsibility should go to the people where we live, that someone should come to us with an agenda, with a manifesto, to say that, look, my country folk or my townsfolk, this is what I want to deliver for you, right? What do you think about it? Can we do it? Then they vote for that person.
Vote for the person.
So that every 4 or every 5 years, they then have the opportunity to change the person based on whether they were delivering or they delivered on that mandate or not. Among others, we want to strengthen the sub-district structures. We have unit committees, area councils, the building blocks to an effective local government system where we mobilize the people. We want to strengthen those structures as well. We want to engender public interest in the district level elections. You know that in this country, when it comes to the national level elections, we are very interested.
Yes.
But when it comes to the
local level, you don't have a lot of people turning up.
So we also want to, as I expressed earlier, strong gender and youth participation in the governance arrangement. Today in Ghana, we have a very large cohort of young people, but they're not involved. We want that, just like it happens in other places too, we want that young people, we may want to see more women in local leadership or in national leadership. Right. We want to see more young people in leadership. When it comes to administrative decentralization, we want to strengthen the capacity of the people that work within the local authorities. We want to harmonize systems at that level. We want to enhance the accountability mechanisms. We currently want to be able to introduce what we call the DPIAC. You know that at the national level, we have the PIAC, the Public Interest and Accountability. We're introducing that at the district level, right? So that we'll have a DPIAC. There's a PAC in Parliament that ensures accountability. Yes. We want to be able to have a DPAC. Okay. At the local level, so that we're able to hold this duty bearer. Remember that we're giving more money, to the local level.
I was going to come to that.
Yes.
To be able to do all of this, it comes with the money. Now, you're saying you're giving them more money.
Yes.
Okay.
So last year, we started last year. So I would say that we started implementation already of the aspirations of this policy, right? In the area of fiscal decentralization, we're saying that we want to move the DACF from the constitutional minimum of 5% to 7.5%.
Okay.
Right? The Constitutional Review Committee, for instance, they are recommending 10%. But we are saying let's start, gradually from 7.5%. But already of the 5%, His Excellency, because of his commitment to these reforms, decided that last year we do a minimum of 80% of direct transfers to the local government. Right? Previously, we were doing about 56%. That's the highest we ever got to. Today, the new formula is a minimum of 90% of direct transfers to the local governments. It means more money is going in there. Last year, the government sent about almost 7 billion through the DACF to the local governments, right? With 90% now, we're looking at upwards of 10 billion going to the local governments. So more money is going in there, but it also means that more accountability. So we need the people of Ghana, where we live, each one of us, that we should get interested in these matters.
Okay.
That when it comes to the planning processes, so we are talking about under decentralized planning, we are talking about more participatory planning, more participatory budgeting, more participatory auditing, so that the people are able to audit the processes, the resources that come. That together, we said that we will do A, B, C, D. We're going to build 5 chips compound, or we're going to build a polyclinic. Have we done it? How much did we spend doing it? What are the processes we undertook to do that? Then there's local economic development. We're talking about the 24-hour economy. Now, under local economic development, we want to stimulate an agenda. We want the local government areas to be the engines of growth. We want the local authorities, the DCEs and their teams, to identify the growth poles. What are the potentials that exist within each district? Maybe you are an agricultural-focused district. You grow cashew, right? How can we add value to that? all of those processes are highlighted in here.
Okay.
And we want them to do this in collaboration with the 24-hour economy.
And I was coming to that,
yes.
because if you look at the timeline of the framework over the period, so it's into an election, so 2010 to 2014.
Yes.
And as such, so for this,
yes.
I've seen in there that this policy is supposed to align with the resetting agenda and the 24-hour economy that is being pushed by this government. So 2028,
yes,
we'll go to the polls. If we go to the polls, and I'm just saying, if we go to the polls and the NDC is moved from office or removed from office, voted out, then the NPP comes in. They are not talking about resetting agenda. They're talking about 24-hour economy. What happens to the policy? Is it one that they are binded to follow?
Yes. So remember that these teams are universal.
Okay.
Right? We're talking about local economic development, and 24-hour economy is about stimulating the economy. It's about bringing about growth. It's about creating jobs. So if you don't believe in 24-hour economy, but you believe in stimulating the local economy, remember that we have 261 local economies. That is the 261 MMDAs. And everything that happens there, that ecosystem of the various facets, some people are doing agriculture, some people are into production, some people are adding value, by way of setting up factories and what have you. Some people are into services. All of that together, we're saying that what are the building blocks, what are the things we need to do at that level to stimulate that local economy so that it can bring about transformation and growth of the national economy.
Okay.
So those teams are universal, right? The 24-hour, it's a jargon, but it's all talking about economic growth. What can we do to stimulate the local economy? So even if there's a change of government, even within the same party, people come with different aspirations.
Ideas.
But because we have followed a very elaborate process of consultation, bottom up, top down, we have done all of it. We have spoken to people, we have spoken to the people of Ghana, civil society organizations, development partners, duty bearers, both at the center and the local level. So together, religious bodies, all of it, the whole shebang, right? We decided to use all of 2025 to do the consultations. And we then crystallize these things, the aspirations that we have expressed in the policy.
Okay. Doc, it's been a very insightful conversation, getting to understand the new decentralization policy. And for my viewers out there, I think you've broken it down very well for us to understand. As we wrap up on this conversation, what's the way forward in terms of the awareness creation, the education for the people at the local level to understand what this policy is about?
Thank you very much. We want to be able to build a partnership with the media, for instance, to be able to craft the messaging for the delivery of this policy. Now, you remember I talked about the mindset change. That is critical in the implementation of any policy, especially this one where we are talking about the reset. We want that people should look at decentralization and local governance differently. We want them more involved. We want them to take ownership of this policy. But we also want that the media, we want you to place your microscope on the local governments, the 261, all of them, and their DCs, their coordinating directors, their directors, and the public servants that work within those MMDAs. We want you to focus on them, to say, how are you delivering this policy? We want you to focus on all the institutions that are highlighted in this policy as implementing the various aspects of it. We want you to put your microscope on them, put your cameras on them, ask them the questions. What are the systems? What have you put in place? The policy says you should do A, B, C, D. What are you doing? Right? And for the people, that's at the institutional level. And for the people, we want that for us at the IMCC, you should ask us the questions. For the DCEs who are closest to you, we want you to ask them the questions. We want you to be involved, right? We want you to, when they invite you over for the planning processes, we want you to take an active role in it. Also, when you have issues at that level, we want you to engage with them because they are there to provide the solutions, right? And so together, we want that we are delivering this policy over the next 5 years. And in 5 years' time, we want to believe that we'll have a more transformed, more progressive, and more intuitive local government system that's in tune with the aspirations of the people.
Right. Dr. Gamali Kurubi Hodofia. I got it right.
You got it right.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. He's the Executive Secretary for the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, explaining to us the new decentralization policy and framework for 2026 to 2030. Thank you very much for coming. Interestingly, our next guest is a former DCE, so I'm sure he'll be interested in this one also.
Yes,
when we come back from the break, we're speaking to Honorable Fuseni Donko, who is Deputy Director in charge of operations at the National Service Authority. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. At MNC Properties, we believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy. Specifically designed for low and medium income earners, our range of customizable homes includes 2 and 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We understand the importance of simplicity and convenience in the acquisition process. That's why we have designed our procedures to be straightforward and hassle-free, offering flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs. In addition to our affordable homes, we proudly offer litigation-free lands for sale in vibrant and upscale communities that present the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality, providing you with the joy of owning a home that meets your budgets and aspirations. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 030-255-1917. MNC Properties.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to Amame Manfo, Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is seho by, a man's ring, Nesaso Mama Hotoso, a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel. Happy Smile. This advert is FDA approved.
This Easter, Estate Masters Limited is giving you more reasons to celebrate in our extended Easter promo. Secure your dreamland at Nest Cottage, Chopoli with a massive 15% discount. Or choose Palm Hills, Gomwa Pamfukrom, also at 15% discount. And for lovers of the coast, Coastal Park, Mingo Prampram awaits you at 10% discount. Plus, enjoy free site visits and free documentation because we make land ownership simple. This Easter, don't just celebrate, invest in your future. Estate Masters Limited, your most preferred estate partner.
Welcome back from the break. This is Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV with me, Desmond Okoreku-Danso, and we're getting into a conversation with the Deputy NSA Director, Fuseni Donko. He's joined me here on the table. And so when it comes to the National Service Authority and the questions There are quite a number of them, and a lot of times also viewers do send in a number of questions. So the producers will put numbers out later, so you can ask any question and we'll take it from there. It's been Major who's been coming around, but today we have Hussaini Donko joining us here.
Kennel.
Hey, sorry.
Lieutenant Kennel.
Lieutenant Kennel. Yes. I remember the last time we came down. Yeah, we were made known of the change. I beg your pardon, Lieutenant Kennel. Thank you very much, Honorable Donko, for joining us here on Good Afternoon, Ghana.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So let's begin from the conversation that we just ended with, the decentralization framework and policy. You've been there. You've been at the grounds. Just a quick thoughts about it. Do you think we really need to tighten governance at the local level, and what this policy could do for us?
Yeah, good afternoon to your cherished viewers. And let me say, local government, local governance as it was birthed, it had a particular agenda to bring development to the doorstep of the local people. So if you look at local government and primary health care, they are supposed to go hand in hand.
Okay.
Which means you don't need to step out of your district to access at least a basic amenity. You don't need to step out of your community to be able to access some basic amenities like light, market, schools, healthcare. So that was the concept of decentralization that we all talk about as, how do we call it, local government. The fathers or the framers of our local governance structure actually thought that if we really want to develop this country, let's start from the base rather to the top, because I'm partly doing Central Frank Plains, but originally I'm from CB in the Nkwanta North.
Okay.
Yeah, but because of movement, my father's, my junior father, let me put it that way, relocated to Isekura in Central Frank Plains. Now, if you look at Central Frank Plains, if government is to sit in, maybe let's say local government minister wants to actually propose a project for us in Central Frank Plains, or education minister wants to propose a project for us in Central Frank Plains, you might get it wrong.
True.
Rather than the district assembly itself coming out with our needs assessment and saying we need this. If you look at the scheme of things that we need in Central Frank Plains, the top three will be light, roads, and water.
Okay.
That would be our top three.
Top three.
Because yes, we did our best to expand
electrification to some communities.
So as I speak to you now, electrification is not even up to 50% of the whole district.
Central Frank Plains.
Yes. It is now that we are even expanding, as I speak to you now. For the past 8 years, it was around 30%. We started, it was the NDC during John Mahama's first term that we took light to Drobonso, the district capital. And we connected places like Dagomba and Fi. We were in the process of connecting about 25 communities when we lost power. And it stayed there till...
So it's just important that these policies get to the base.
Yes, seriously. And that is what the NDC believes in. When the needs come from the base, it's better served than bringing development from central government to the local level.
Right.
It doesn't really meet the people's actual needs.
Yeah, it was just fair that I asked you since you've been there.
Sure.
Now to the National Service Authority, you've come in a year and a few months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How's the service been? Because the service was one that has had a lot of talks about it,
and even center of news.
Even after you came in, stories about the prosecution of the former management, some former management members, and all of that, and coming into that fold. was there a thing of, okay, want to understand what is happening here? How do I also make sure that I do not go that same tangent, to get caught up in all of this? How did you deal with your first few days in office as a deputy director?
Yeah, so first, I think I was appointed somewhere around March. Yeah, earlier part of March I got appointed, and initially I was appointed to the Deputy DG in charge of operations. So myself, I was the operations director in charge of operations, and then my boss now, Ms. Ruth De La Sedor, was in charge of finance and administration. So our former boss was Felix Gemfi. So because of what had happened before I got there, there was so much pressure, actually. There was so much intense pressure. So when I got there, knowing me and then the experience with which I had and the position that was giving me, the two of them really felt relieved. So all of a sudden, they pushed all the agric activities towards me.
Okay.
And unfortunately, too, deployment was also directly under the operations. So I had to oversee deployment, I had to oversee the agric activities and always reporting back to my boss and my colleague. It wasn't an easy task. Plus, the kind of news that was surrounding us, most of our donor partners were a bit apprehensive.
There was reputational damage?
Yes, so there was a lot of scrutiny. Even the finance minister has to double check even our figures before releases are made to us.
With donor partners?
Oh, we're actually dealing with UNDP, we're dealing with, but now the only partner we are dealing with currently that is remaining with us is the MasterCard Foundation.
So you're saying all the other donor partners left because of what had happened?
They didn't leave, but they were apprehensive. They wanted to see how the court issues go. Now they want to do proper auditing at their side before they do any further commitments again.
Okay.
So I don't want to mention names, but most of them actually held on to funding for most of our programs.
Then there was a bit of struggle.
That is what I'm trying to explain. So there was a serious struggle, and like I said, the only person that was standing with us was MasterCard Foundation. And then the government of Ghana, especially through the Ministry of Agric, also came in strongly to support our Agric project. In fact, the president has to personally get involved by ordering the Ministry of Agric to give us the farm inputs that we had to use for the whole of the 2025 crop season. So fertilizers, seedlings, for made seed and everything had to be provided by the Ministry of Agric.
After what had happened at the NSA, then NSS, what were you told by those the person who appointed you? what was mentioned to you before you got into the office?
I remember vividly. Yes, NSS has a lot of challenges. Those were some of the charges that I was told. Listen, there's so much issue as NSS. We need you to go and help the Director General and your colleagues to actually streamline and make sure we bring some stability and progress to the place. So go there and assist the DG to make sure you change the name. The bad name is enough.
After a year, do you think you've been able to do that?
Looking back, I can say yes, we've done more than we were expected.
Stability?
Yes, unfortunately, our sacrifices are not being recognized. It will shock you to know that from an amount of 1.5 billion that we were spending in 2024 on allowances alone, we've cut it down to 700 million as I speak to you.
1.5 to
billion.
7. Okay.
So a savings of about 900 million have been made just through prudent blocking of ghost names and cutting out every loophole that people will use to enter the system.
So ghost names, people were taking double, triple, what?
All those things have been blocked. Even the system itself has been changed. That's the Central Management System Portal. The system itself has been changed now.
Did it point to any particular persons apart from those we already know?
So, yes, the system, you see, the system is in such a way that on its own, it cannot do anything. Human beings have to input.
Okay.
So it is, when you compromise it, the only thing the system can do is that it will leave a trace, audit trail that this is what Don Kofuseni did at this particular time on this date. So it records all your activities that you go in there to do. So when an expert goes in there, that is why the forensic audit was done in the system. So
Okay.
you realize that even aside that, right from the beginning when the issue of ghost names came up, the state was chasing after 560 million. It was after our forensic audit of the system itself that it jumped to 2.2 billion. So most of our activities are in the system. So if you don't have access to our system, you may not even see a lot of our activities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
that should be a hard thing to do in a space where it's in the public space.
No, so let me add another interesting thing for you. So in the agric side, when we took over, on the poultry side, all we had at Papao by the time we took over was 2,500 birds. Those were layers.
2,500 beds.
Yes. As I speak to you now, we have 100,000 capacity poultry house at Papao currently. We just finished selling about 120,000 broilers. We are currently housing about 20,000 layers.
How did you do that?
So like I said, MasterCard Foundation through Agri-Impact was actually our partners.
Okay.
So they were giving us funding to train young graduates, especially in poultry production. But unfortunately for us, in the previous administration, when about 300,000 birds came for us as national service to actually use for the project, we didn't have pens for it.
There were no pens for
There
them.
were no pens built for them. So unfortunately, the poultry had to be given to private anchor farmers. So when we took over in February, March was going to be the second cycle, the beginning of the second cycle, where another 100,000 beds were supposed to be given. So they wanted to test us with 20,000 and see if this time we can do something. So we had to quickly partner a private entity to help us build emergency poultry houses that will be able to house the day-old chicks. And that is how come we're able to raise the 100,000 capacity poultry houses.
There have been conversations about young people getting into agriculture, and of course, the National Service Authority has, of course, graduates who are doing their service and all of that. Has it become attractive again with what you're saying, with how you're trying to correct some of the wrongs that have been done in the past? Are you getting the young people? As
I currently speak to you, if you go to our Papao farms right now, we have about 125 personnel there now currently, who are actively involved in the agri value chain. Then if you go to our farm in Abutentre in the Sechar Farm Plains District, we have about 20,000 acres of land there. So over there, we're doing both tomatoes and the maize cultivation. So a lot of the graduates are actually there also being taken through the process of tomato cultivation as well. Now, the strategy that we actually had was to train them when they master, especially the irrigation and the tomato cultivation properly. Then land allocations would have been made to them. Then they become anchor farmers. So we train them when they become, they know the processes of cultivating the tomatoes very well. We allocate them a land, let's say 5 acres, 10 acres. Then When they produce now, then National Service now buy from them. So that was how we're going to set them up. That is still ongoing. There are some of the students on the Papao Farm right now who have also now become even breeders. They are also now doing their own day-old chicks and selling for some of the private poultry farmers in the area. So a lot is going on. Last count, the last postings we did, about 10,000 students applied for the agri project.
10,000 students?
Yes.
Okay.
Applied willingly that they wanted to be part of our agri project. So our only challenge is that now we're trying to expand to the whole country. But our equipments are not up to date as we want them. So that's our only challenge. Inputs, they are okay. Land, we have land in all the 16 regions of Ghana.
Okay.
But the
inputs to work
the equipment is the issue now. The biggest challenge for us is the equipment. And you don't also take the graduates there where things that they've learned in school, they can't
There's nothing
get the
to work
equipment
with.
to actually work with. So that is the only thing that is hindering. And then another major challenge is the hostel facilities on most of our project sites to host the students there. We don't want the situation where they'll have to be traveling in and out of the project site. So that has been the only problem that we have with our project site. Otherwise, most of these students would have been there.
I see there's been so much focus on agriculture and agribusiness. Is that a deliberate, priority for the NSA?
So we are actually trying to position ourselves as one of the foremost agencies when it comes to the Feed Ghana agenda.
Okay.
So we are trying to position National Service, because if we are able to get the attention of the youth, especially the graduate youth, in the Feed Ghana agenda, it becomes productive and sustainable. So that is why we are practically positioning ourselves in such a way that if we are able to become the lead agency, it means we will attract a lot of the graduate youth. If we are able to attract a lot of the graduate youth into the agriculture and agribusiness, it means job creation becomes easier. So that is the reason why we've pushed most of. Yes, there's a lot of IT issues as well going on. There's a lot of entrepreneurship training that we are partnering with NIEP to also implement as well. So a lot of things are going on, but this is an easy, or let me say a low-hanging fruit that if we are able to actually work out well, we can actually make a lot of impact at that area. So yes, we are actually helping to promote food security, at the same time help create job as well.
Right, so we just tuned in. We're speaking to Fuseni Donko. He's Deputy Director of Operations for the National Service Authority. We're talking about what has been done.
So currently I'm in charge of finance and administration.
Oh, you'll be finance and administration.
Yes, so now Kenel is in charge of
operations. Right. So there's a shift in the finance. Now the money. So that's even dangerous. That's even more dangerous, because all the monies from your quarters.
Well, so it's in two ways. So the structure is in such a way that every approval, even from myself and Kenel, has to go through the Director General.
Okay.
So that is how it is. And when it comes to operation, all operational expenditures goes through the Deputy DG Operations. Then all the administrative expenditures also goes through Deputy DG FNA to the Director General, who gives the final approval. So ours is to recommend for her approval, especially getting the line officers to vet, get your the procurement, or get your auditor to vet. If they okay it, then you can now also recommend to. But then the good news is that because of where we sit and because of what we have gone through, now we pay much more particular attention to even our expenditure vis-a-vis even our volunteers scheme, as well as even the numbers that the school even bring for as class list for postings.
Okay.
So you realize that last year alone, the schools generated 156,000 names as potential NSA personnel. But because of the security measures we put in place, out of the 156,000, only 97,000 were able to go through.
And that caused a lot of issues.
Yeah.
That's why Lieutenant Colonel was almost always here every week.
So what happened was that, yes, aside the 97,000 were the people having the issues. The about 60,000 people, they didn't even show up at all. So those are the people you can classify as ghost names.
Okay.
Because the schools will bring the list all right. But once you open the portal, they go through 4 stages of security clearance before they now register.
Okay.
So you go, you use your Ghana card, you verify, you are able to go with your PIN.
Okay.
When your Ghana card matches, the first security layer is when your Ghana card matches the class list.
Okay.
Even if one letter changes there, the system blocks you.
Okay.
If your date of birth has issues, the system will flag you. Unlike previously, the system would have allowed you to continue.
Okay.
But this new system, it flags you and it blocks you.
It blocks you from.
So that is how we were able to screen out a lot of people.
Talking about getting the personnel. Now, one of the challenges, as always, even when we were doing national service back then, has always been with our money, and when our money's coming. The last time there have been payments, I think it's been a couple of months ago. What's happening?
Okay, so I think we've just cleared last week or last 2 weeks that we paid the March arrears.
That's 3 months ago, or 2 months ago.
Yeah, so we are now left with the April arrears. So that's 1 month. Normally, like I said, now because of what we went through, we go through a lot of vetting.
Right.
So by 15th going of this month, all personnel should have at least done their 20 days at least minimum. So after you clock your 20 days minimum, you should be able to take your evaluation form to your district office for your evaluation.
Yeah.
I believe you've done that before. So after they have captured your biometrics and in person now it's not done like previously. Now you have to do it in person. So after they have captured your evaluation forms, it goes back to the region.
Okay.
Then from the region, it comes back to national. That is the headquarters.
Yes.
Then the headquarters also now does the vetting of all the biometrics that have been brought to us to ascertain that, yes, they are actually the people we're talking about. Then we now push it to finance. Finance also does their own vetting before releasing funds to, controller. Then controller now releases the funds to, formally it has to go to, gifts. But now it has to now go to the bank. When the bank receives it, then now they credit into the accounts of the...
So all of that process takes how long?
Oh, like if minimum can be like a week or 2.
Okay.
Depending on how quickly the district submits their evaluation lists.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some of them can delay.
Okay.
If, let's say, below 50% submits their evaluation form, that district will wait to at least cross the 50%.
So this letter that came out from the Service Authority, and we have a few minutes to go, I also have a lot of questions, says that the NSA partners with Absa Bank to provide overdraft relief for service personnel.
So that was a wrong headline in a way because...
No, but this is from the authority.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That was a bit of a way because normally NASPA, when it comes to allowances, it is NASPA that handles their allowance. Anything going out of the allowance is NASPA. We can only as management make sure we facilitate it for them. So if there is delay in their allowances, and they say, okay, there's a bank that is willing to stand in the gap, so that when your allowance delays, they can give you, is it an overdraft?
Yeah, the overdraft.
Yes, with a small percentage as loan. So that is something that they do, and then we just make sure we supervise and facilitate.
Oh, but the first paragraph says, the National Service Authority has announced a strategic partnership with Absa Bank Ghana and National Service Personnel Association to introduce an overdraft.
So that is where you see that we didn't say National Service Personnel, but we said National Service Personnel Association. That's what I'm saying. NASPA actually had to sign on because it is their money.
So who made the move?
That is NASPA. NASPA has
NASPA spoke to Absa Bank.
Yes, we only have to make sure, because we are the institution supervising NASPA, we have to now make sure we grant them their particular authority.
No wonder this statement had a lot of backlash for you. Anyway, so when is the military? Because I haven't seen the military.
Yes, so it is still being. I think we've done almost everything now. We are just waiting for release of funds. Now we've done all the legworks, all the groundworks have been done. We've met with the military. They've taken us through all their procedures. They've even assigned all the training centers that we are supposed to do it. Even the medical screening, everything has been assigned. So we are just waiting, and I'm sure very soon the finance minister will make do on his promise.
So it's going to be with the next batch?
Yes, unfortunately, that's how it's going to be. But if it comes early now, because now they've done almost 5 to 6 months, 6 months to 7 months already. They started in November.
Yeah.
So, yes, if it comes now, it means those on the field now, a few can be withdrawn for the pilots.
But it cannot. It's not happening now.
It can happen today. If finance minister releases money today.
So it's up to the finance minister to
once he releases the funds, we can start tomorrow.
What's a promise that you make to yourself and the people of Ghana as you find yourself in that position, so that one day the cycle that is happening with other management members of the previous administration?
One thing I can say for sure is that we will not go back to the issue of ghost names again. There will not be an issue of ghost names again, especially not under our watch. And then 2, we won't waste lands again, because we lost Ejura farms, we lost Volta, almost all our farms for the past 8 years, we lost all of them except Kumawu. But now we have been able to revive almost up to 14 regions now. So yes, there will be productivity now in national service. Now we are also trying our best to make sure we increase our own IGF, so that we post a lot more personnel to the private sector for better training. Because we realize that the government sector, the training is not being met as much as we want it, because the crowd. So the numbers that goes to the government sector, especially places like Parliament, we are doing our best to make sure most of the technical students are not mostly taken to the Parliament house.
Put a lot of people there in Parliament.
Yeah, that's a major challenge for us.
Do you have a number in mind?
Parliament can alone take over 2,000 of our personnel.
2,000 personnel at Parliament?
Yes. Parliament alone can do that. And that is a worry for us, because it's a drain on us, and they don't get the attention that they need. If you are taking political science students and then diplomatic, foreign studies students, or those guys, they're no problem. But at times you see engineering students struggling to be in Parliament. At times, personal requests. At times to some powers from the top briefing on your neck.
Powers from the top.
No, you see, it's at times you have an MP saying, I want this person as my assistant. Your hands are tied. So those are some of the few challenges that we have. But we are doing everything possible to make sure your study area, we post you to places that you can get better training, better field training for your study area.
Okay. As we wrap up, just as we've seen the government, you know, this time there's a lot of conversation with the NPP. Dr. Bami has engaged the minority in parliament that the target is Agenda 2028. They're winning back power. Every activity in parliament should be towards that. The NDC in this moment are also going through some internal issues. What is happening?
Oh, truth be told, for me, like I said, thank God His Excellency is focused. And that is one thing that I always thank God about, because now, you see, he's in a legacy term. So this is not a time to be distracted. So if you realize he's focused on getting the big push delivered, the proper things that has to be done so that he doesn't start the thing and he gets truncated at a point. So you realize that even the 24-hour economy, the bill has been laid in Parliament, it has been passed, the secretariats have been created, even we have also been invited. All stakeholders are being invited, manufacturers, producers, and all company owners are being invited quietly, so that when it takes off, there's no coming down again. Yes, so I'm happy he's focused. It doesn't really happen in our fourth Republican Constitution that getting too close to 1.5 years, not even a single scandal. Our friends are hungry for scandal, they are hunting for scandal. So I can understand the frustration from the MPP side. So whatever the flag bearer is telling them, they are not going to listen because they are frustrated. There is no message, there's no clear-cut message for them as I speak to you. It's all about press conference. So maybe after this program, there will be a press conference because maybe I took a hit at them.
I mean, the agitations that, you know, because there were some promises, especially from the then candidate, President Mahama, and the first year, a lot of things would have been sorted, 24-hour economy, all of those things.
Okay, so to be very fair, he didn't say 24-hour economy will be fully implemented in the first year.
Okay.
Yes. Take the 120-day promise.
Contract, yeah.
You realize that he was very particular about most of the things he said. And even during the campaign, you realize that he was very careful. Everything John Mahama said in his campaign time, you realize that he's taking steps to make sure he fulfills them. Because he has been there before. He knows what happens. Yes, we anticipated some of the issues. Even today, you realize now the All African Games issues is now coming up.
The auditing.
You see, so we anticipated some of the issues, but nobody anticipated our finance minister will run away. So some of the things we anticipated it. We knew we could deal with some of them. That is why a lot of things, sacrifices are going on. A lot of sacrifices are. Yes, for the first time in the history of Ghana, and if you had asked my colleague who came earlier, he would have explained to you that even common fund releases has seen the highest in the fourth Republican Constitution.
True.
This is unprecedented. And it is because of our intention to make sure development comes from the base. So yes, most of the promises, you take it and look at how he's doing everything possible to fulfill them, because after this term, my brother, it is about what he has left behind that people will talk about.
Who do you want to succeed the president as flag bearer for the party?
It is not my call.
No, who do
it is not my call.
No, but
whoever the NDC chooses, I will support.
How do I do too?
I don't have a name.
Professor Nana Jane.
I don't have a name.
General Mosquito.
I don't have a name. No, the truth of the matter is that in the NDC, succession is not by choice. Such succession is by performance. So when the time comes, you see where the delegates will gravitate towards.
Who's the most performing minister now?
Well, I can't actually say. Because a lot of them are sacrificing their best. There's a lot of them who are also under pressure. So I may not be able to pinpoint. I can pinpoint a few.
Finance minister?
Nobody likes him because he's holding our funds. But he's doing his bit. No, sincerely, on the economy front, you see that His Excellency has achieved a lot of successes there.
Okay.
Stabilization and a lot of, yes, we would have expected.
Education minister?
He's also doing well.
So I see
Adric is doing well. Energy is also doing well.
I see responses to the two of them. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Doko is Deputy Director at the National Service Authority in charge of finance, right? And he joined us today to talk about what's been happening at the authority and a few other issues. Today is the birthday of my sister, one after me, Priscilla in Triwadan. So happy birthday to you. You're 27 today. God bless you. All right. So do well to stay with us till the very end. Of course, www.metrotvonline.com. My name is
Metro TV. Insightful and inspiring moments.
In a time where noise is loud, but clarity is rare, one program is changing the conversation. Welcome to the Intelligence Desk. This is not a talk show.